Hi, these are some legal information for refugees coming from the Ukraine. Today is March 9th, and it seems that the legal situation seems to change very rapidly because new laws and directives are being passed, and it can happen that some information that was true on Sunday may be outdated by now, and actually there are some open questions still that could be resolved in the future, so it does make sense to look up and stay tuned. Currently, the situation for people coming to Germany is as follows. You can enter the country with just a passport and you do not need to apply for anything. You can stay here until the mid of May without having to apply for any kind of grant of residency. However, under this act, you will not be entitled, or you might not be entitled, for financial aid. We know that the municipal, for example, where we live, will not give people any financial aid unless they do register. So when you do register, the question is, what kind of protection or status would you apply for? You would probably not need to apply for asylum because you have better grounds of staying in the country and getting financial aid, and that's section 24, which I have shown here. That's granting of residence for temporary protection. This law has existed for quite some time, but it has never been used because the mass influx directive has just recently been activated for the first time on the European level. So that means that for the first time section 24 comes into place and will be worked out, and you can see some details in this section 24. However, we're not sure if everything that's written in here will actually apply. For example, section 24 will entitle you for financial aids or also health care. However, it says that you have no claim to choose where to live. Subsection 5 says the foreigner has no entitlement to stay in a specific land. Land is Bundesland like Bavaria or Hessen or Hamburg or Berlin. The foreigner must take up accommodation and habitual residence at the place to which he or she is allocated. Currently, we may not have allocations of that kind in every case. People have been finding their places on their own, and I find it rather unlikely that they will be asked to be relocated to somewhere else. However, for newly incoming people, it can happen that they will be assigned to a certain city and place and would have to stay there. That's the current status in the law. The other thing about section 24 is the right of whether you will be able to work. Subsection 6 says self-employment may not be excluded. So for those working as a freelancer or self-employed, that will be easier. However, the residence permit does not entitle the holder to pursue an economic activity. Such activity may be permitted under section 4a. So the question is, will you be able to work in Germany if you have the status and the permission to stay under section 24? And we hear from politicians that they say we should make it possible easily for Ukrainians to find a job here and to work and make a living, but these details have not been worked out. Currently, our recommendation is not to apply for asylum, but rather for the grant of residence for temporary protection if you want to receive financial aid. If you assume that you don't need any help from the government and will return within the next few weeks back to Ukraine, you have to do nothing. You can stay and just have your Ukrainian passport. You can enter the country with that, and you can also travel to other places or other European countries if you've not applied for a granting of residence under section 24, for example. Actually, we would not recommend you to apply for asylum unless you don't fall under section 24. This could be the case if, for example, you're not in Ukrainian but are seeking protection under different grounds, or if you are, for example, a Russian, and that's something we have to work out to find out how, for example, people who have fled from the Russian army will be treated when they come to Germany. So I will try to find more solutions. I'm not specialized in refugee law, but we talk to experts here and we try to set up an information system together with some German law clinics and experts, and with a interactive system where you can answer questions and then get results for the more complicated cases, and I hope we can work that out in the future. So up for now, I hope you feel well and safe in Germany. Welcome here.